Hey there folks, and welcome to the next Grand Triple 7 weekly challenges, October week 5. In other words, October 30th to November 6th. Starting with the European Sunday Cup 500 at Iger Nordwin circuit. Which I am driving the Mercedes-Benz Unimog 1962. Like basically the first Unimog. Basically this thing, yeah, I decided to do a little bit of a, I guess somewhat challenge run, even though I can't really call it a challenge run when I'm using race hard tires, so you know. I don't know, I tried to do it like lesser tires, it didn't work out, so I was like, oh, okay, screw it, let's do it the race hards. Yeah, this is one of the candidates for the future of the 130 mile per hour tryouts of the fun size category. Yeah, I'm trying to get that along and stuff. I was gonna upload 8 episodes of the tryouts, but still haven't got to around that just yet. So, might as well just go ahead and just do the weekly to drive the Unimog, just for showing. To say that it's still going along, it's just, you know, take its time. Yeah, I am, in terms of versus opponents here, it's the BMW M3 1997, or it's the E36, right? Like E36, I think. So yeah, I think the E46 is 2003. Or what's the M3 UTR? Or this is just the regular M3, which a lot of people also like, big time. So, yeah, the Mercedes Unimog versus that at the end of the day, which is the funny part. Which can do it. It can do it. Yeah, as long as it's not a course of crazy top speed, this you could technically do the 130 mile per hour cars in these at the end of the day. It just if there's a lot of straightaways and stuff, I think you're kind of screwed out at that point. I will say. Yeah, the Unimog can definitely do this at the end of the day. And the worst part is, I think it's technically the weakest one out of the 130s too. That's the best part. That will spoil just a tad. So in case anyone wants to know, that's one of the weakest ones. So yeah, that barely made the 130. I will say. I tried every little method step I could find for top speed for that. At the end of the day, it did it. It's just very tough to do it. Very tough for the most part. Yeah, when I'm going to be doing those tryouts for the end teasers, I'm going to be tossing that, where it hits at for 130, so that way, in case someone wants sort of proof to that you can do it, there's your proof, basically, in the future, or upcoming future. That's it. Yep, so this driving the Unimog around Iger Nordwin, which Iger Nordwin has become basically one of my most funnest tracks anymore. Like, back then, I didn't really care much about this track, but the more I play this track, the more I kind of realize how fun it is at the end of the day. How tight and restricted it really is. This is a very good track in its own right, this side. I will say, as a forward layout track, as a reverse layout track, I think it's kind of one of the worst in terms of reverse layout. If you try this track in reverse, it's just not a very interesting, fun track in reverse. Also, forward is just so much better because you take the jumps as you're supposed to. Where the backwards way, you're mostly climbing. Also, you know, you're technically are climbing through this way too. So it's like one way or the other for the most part. Also, yeah. So yeah, beating the E36 on the way there, as the thing goes. Surprised too, because it was kind of a bit tight. As you see, this like the last corner, and I had that much to spare from the opponent at the end there. But the Unimog did it. Victory for the Unimog. Victory for the Unimog. You know, use race hard tires, but victory for the Unimog. Anyways, to the 4-wheel drive challenge 600 of Japanese at Nürburgring Sprint course, which I am driving the GR Yaris. But not just any GR Yaris RZ, I will say. GR Yaris with the Hemi motor, because I believe this is the last engine swap I did not show out of the new updates. Cause yeah, I showcased the Corolla with the Hemi motor. I didn't showcase the Yaris with the Hemi motor, which I tried my damnedest to get 200 miles per hour build for the Yaris. You really just can't. You really just can't. That Hemi motor of the Hellcat variety, you cannot detune it just enough for it to be 200 miles per hour. It wants that 350 at best. So I gave it that. I gave it that and just race hard tires at the end of the day, because at this point it's more of a race build. So it's like, okay, let's just go with this. So 350 kilometers per hour GR Yaris RZ build with the Hemi motor, which trying to drift with this thing kind of sucks at that too on top of it. And yeah, I'm not surprised, because like anything that's with a Hemi is just not interesting to me whatsoever, because how bad a Hemi motor really is. To my case, it kind of is. I get where some people are at though, because they have the most crazy power and inertia possible. I will say, out of most American cars, usually Hemis is, when it comes to drag racing, Hemi motors are usually the top notch of the crop when it comes to acceleration. Although I got beaten by a Tesla, but you know. Jokes aside, that's the funny part. I mean, I could safely say I am not a dragster fan. I don't care about dragster. If there's like two sports I kind of just don't care for, do not care for drifting, and do not care for dragging. I just like racing at its finest. That's really it. And there's so many examples of that I find better and maybe healthier. I hate to be a diss on that. Although I mean maybe racing's not much better on the whole health chart on that, but you know, I always find dragster and drifting kind of one of the worst on that category, because although drifting does use run down tires, so that's a bit of a slide there. So it's like, because yeah, I think most drift cars end up using run down race tires, vertical or something like that. Although that kind of might be just a rumor mill at the end of the day. But so to say for opponents on this one, there really isn't any for the most part when you have a build of this quality and this high of PP, because it's 670 to a 600 PP of suggestion. So yeah, definitely destroying the competition at the end of the day. If anything that's going to give chase is probably that impressive 22B there. I think this is also the case where I think the Mazda 3 showed up for the first time too, if I recall. What's particular about this event? Besides the Nissan Nismo, I think that might be other, what was technically a new one. Yeah, the R32 Nismo that came with till later. For those that don't know on that. And then the Mazda 3 I think was also the same case too. Because I think it was the Mazda 3 and then the Grade 4 car came later. So they were like one of the first, somewhat the first updates, I would say. Somewhat. And such. But yeah, that was the kind of cars we got back then. Yeah, got the Impreza 22B, which yeah, there's the Mazda 3 right there. Which yeah, with the Gran Turismo sticker again. That must be just normal. I guess I just never realized about that Mazda 3 with the Gran Turismo sticker on it in front. There. But yeah. Very interesting for that part also. Okay, got the R32. Wait, is there not? Yeah, there was a Nismo. Yeah, it says Nismo on that one. Okay. Weird. Oh no, there's two R32s. Okay, there's a V-spec too. Okay. Thought I was a little confused there. Yeah, overall, to say about the Yaris RZ, it's weird because, yeah, when you hit the brakes, the front end loosens up, like, really quick, I will say, too. So it's very interesting. That might be because I might have put so much downforce on the front spoiler or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's something. It's something. I'm not sure quite a lot, but it's something. So here's the Porsche Cup at Nürburgring Nordschleife, which I am driving the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the 9991 model. Cause yeah, it's always fun when it comes to the Porsche 911s because they're like, which model do you think you're driving at the end of the day? Which I'll tell you this, the 991 is the second to most recent model in this game. Which is the 992. The 992 is the 2022 version right there, as you see. Then you have ones like the 995, I believe, back there, or 996? I can't recall. And then you have the 930 there, which is the 1980s, and then you have the 964, which is the 1990s. And such. Because, yeah, Porsche just really weird with names sometimes. Yeah, there's the 993. Okay, that's what it is. Could have sworn there was a 997 or 6, something like that. Just, it's a funny case, because, yeah. Because the 901 is the first model of the 911s. Because it was originally going to be called the 901, but Porsche was being a douche and claimed all the zero numbers in the process, so Porsche decided to call it the 911. Which is, you know, just funny in our case, but, you know, it's just weird. 911, it's not linked to that, is it? No, it's not linked to that. Or you ask. Oh yeah, and then there's some Cayman GT4s up ahead here. But yeah, I'm just driving a, I can't recall if this was a 350 kilometer build. It's like one of those, I think it was like a 200, matter of fact. This was sports hard tires because I thought this was, oh no. It was, yeah, it had to be 350. It had to be 350 kilometer build. Because I think I added race style and everything else to it. Weight reductions, which it has a stage 4 weight reduction to say. But yeah, 217 with sports hard tires because you can't put on race hard tires because it overpowers the competition at the end of it because it's only limited to 650, which is really weird to the newer Porsches because the newer Porsches hit stats beyond that because they are, as implied, GT3s, because, yeah, by performance, they definitely do hit that GT3 category on performance. The cars that they offer, or the cars that they show in, you know, race sports, do offer in sales at the end of the day. And it really shows. Like, this is a GT3, that's a GT3 back there, and whatnot. And then you have the special one, that's the Carrera GTS 904, which... very weird. This has a name at the end of the day, but yeah, it has it. But yeah. Oh no, that's one. It's called 9. Yeah, that's it. It's like I thought it was like, is it the first 9? Technically it is, but the thing is, it's not a 911. So, but you can count it in the line of the 911 family. But so, because it has a number name. So on that mark. Yeah, in terms of real competition, I would say the 911 2001 white Porsche up ahead here, which might be a reference remark to Cass's Porsche at the end of the day, but not surprising. You got a red and orange Porsche going at it right here, a hot pink or magenta, and then you got the, can't remember what that color's called, burgundy. Yeah, it's probably not burgundy. It's probably something else. You got the white Cayman. Ooh, Cayman. And then you have this yellow flag. Huh. You know, I wonder what happened here because it's raining hard as shit right now. So let's see what's about to happen here as we, yeah, because I accidentally hit the lap down here. And one second. Alright, so what happened here? Because I just know the Carrera and GTS. Because yeah, it's like, I saw this in my rear view too, by the way, that this happened. But yeah, you just see those two just coming up to those two that wrecked. Yeah, I will say this thing gets freaking glitchy. Because I might as well hard show this because yeah, this is how glitchy it kind of gets in a replay sometimes. On top of it. But yeah, I'm just passing these two along and it's like, it's like as soon as we got around this corner here, it's like, what just happened here? It's like, okay, it's like, I think he was trying to pass me, but what happened here is that he got blocked, and then he messed up the black car in the process. So they both got fucked at the end of the day. I'm not sure what to say at the end of the day on that matter. It's like, okay, wow. I just love this yellow car. He tried his damnedest to try to pass me for some reason. It's like, you're not passing me, sir. You're gonna stay back there. And then he hit that, which, yeah, one reason why I say those things are deadly, those freaking curves, because you can bounce the car like that, and guess what happens? And now the AI is just freaking out, like, what the heck just happened? Now we just go back here where the 959 and the 904 are just strolling along like it's a nice rainy day. That's how they come around this corner. What the hell? Oh, damn. I'll try to pass these two wackos at the end there. Yeah, that's definitely probably like one of the biggest wrecks I have ever seen in terms of Gran Turismo right now. Besides the hooligan shenanigans that is the historics. It's not. Well, it's like historic race cars basically, but I don't think it's called that. It's called something else. But basically, the one at the. Damn it! I can't remember the name. Oh well, it is what it is. Jesus. Yep. Now just trying to give chase to the white Porsche at the end of the day. Tried to pass him. But he is being a real butt because, of course, as the saying goes, you get close to the first place driver, guess what's going to happen? The progression part's going to kick him up a notch because I will say I do feel like I was a little on par in terms of stats with these other ones at the end of the day. When driving along and driving up at the end of the day, so now it's giving him a boost to where he's a bit quicker or better traction at the end of the day, which I call BS because it's brain like to the level of 2 right now. So it's like, oh wow, it's like, okay, I see how it is this game. I will admit though, he does have a bit more top speed because I think I had to lower just like 364. Oh no, I take that back. This is 200 build in that case because I just remind myself, yeah, that's 364 horsepower. Which, yeah, that's all it needs to hit 200. Which, not surprised, it's the 2009 version one that, or no, 2016 version after all. Yeah, very fast, but it's on good. I'll just try to pass this white one at the end of the day, which is white one's just being a butt. I also got to deal with the rain in the matter for keeping traction alive at the end of it. I will say though, I am kind of shocked how well these cars handle in the rain with the sports car tires. It's like I figured even at this speed they'll just freak out like eventually, but nope, they're still hauling it. But eventually I got him here, which thank God I got him here, because if I didn't, I probably might have lost. Because I will say the speed part's coming up, and yeah, he is technically quicker. As we just slide along here. But yeah, I kind of just drift there, just a tad. I just outmaneuver this guy at the end of the day. I try to keep the car steady. Because it is heavy raid after all. And not the video game. There's no Sean, no Jason involved with this matter. There's only the Porsches. That's the thing goes. Yep, so here we go with the straightaway. Just watch each other slide across the straight. Yeah, he's definitely hitting a lot quicker. You just hit 164 there, I'm only at 162. It's struggling as we speak. He just hit 170. I will say, if I bumped up to 217, it probably would have been quicker. I don't know if it'll pass the PP or not. It hit like 634, I believe. So it's possible that the 350 was probably the better choice. But I had to look a bit harder on that one. Anyways, we got to the end point here, so that's, I'd say, safe to say, it's a victory. At that rate. But yay for the purple Porsche. Yeah, I don't think I ever really drove that one, so that's likely the first time driving it, and not a bad experience overall. This kind of sucks though, I have to use the sports hard tires instead of race hard tires. But yeah. Now, on to the special event of this week, because yeah, another special event. This time with the Honda RAW 272 One Deck Series. At the Spa Franklin-James. Yeah, as what I said, what I'm driving is the, well, technically like one of the first Formula cars, which is the Honda RAW 272 1965. A car that can go 250 miles per hour, by the way. Because yeah, this thing is full tuned for the most part. I mean, it's not like full engine tune, but for the most part, for what it needs to hit 250, it's at its near highest point. Yeah, the Honda RAW, I'm just gonna call that a Honda RAW series. Basically an old Formula car that they added way back. I will say there's technically an older Formula car, which is the Mercedes W1. Which, yeah, good luck getting that. That's $20 million. At least you're technically able to get this one. Although I will say, I think it's like in the ranges of 3 to 5 mil, if I recall. I think it was like a little crazy. Although I could be exaggerating that, so you might have to just hard check. I don't know if it was in the auction or not. Is the best part. So for those that didn't got this car, you just shit out of luck. That's all I say. It should be offered. It should be offered. I have to recheck. So I'm just being an idiot, not, you know, didn't check. So let me check. Okay, so after looking, yeah, 2.5 mil, which, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of money you have to get just to get this car, only just to do this event at the end there. That's probably the sucky part when it comes to Gran Turismo. Is that some cars are okay on the spending spree, but some cars are just downright do not deserve to be cost that much. Although this is not technically the worst out there, so if you saved up enough money, I think you're just fine about this. But for others like the Mercedes W1 I can think of, good God, just good God on it. I hope there's not a special event dedicated to that. That would suck. That thing does not deserve a special event for its cost factor. $20 million. $20 million is what you need for that one. Just, oof. But yeah, for the Honda RAW, I don't think that's the worst. You can just turn around and try to grind for like 2 hours on a good, on an exploitive kind of build or some sort. It won't take long. It will not take long to get that amount of money. And that's if you want to spend the 2 hours doing that, but you know. Yeah, the Honda RAW, others say the Honda RAW is a pretty fun car. I will say it definitely does not hit GT3 performance. It kind of gets close though. It gets very close about it, but it's just not good enough for that. It is a very fast moving car and probably the fastest out of the grade 4 performance. I would say, and probably I would suggest for the most part. So yeah, in case you want, basically was essentially one of the fastest grade 4 cars, it'd be probably that. The other choices I could say is probably the Bach Moto and recently the KTM, because they have race car motors now, so let's make those two on par with this thing. Which the reason why I say this thing is because this car is a Formula car. Well, you know, since this car being a Formula car, those other two cars are also technically Formula cars too, in some ways. Yeah, because by inspiration, if you look at this car and you look at the other ones, you'll notice there's a big semblance going on there, too. Besides the weird muffler stack pipe going on there. Although it's kind of cool, it kind of gives a distinction of this car. That's the one distinction about this car. It still is kind of crazy. The more I look at this car, the more I'm realizing, where's a spoiler for this car? But then I gotta remember, the spoiler technically wasn't invented until Ferrari. When Ferrari drove one cars that would not control itself, so they slapped a spoiler on it to make it better. I can't remember which car it was, but it was some car. But yeah, but it just kind of messed up though, that it had to be Ferrari the one that invented the spoiler, and not, oh, I don't know, the Formula. You know, the whole point of the experimental series that is the Formula racing, you know, the limits of boundaries of beyond time, basically. That formula. Yeah, that just tells you how BS Formula racing can be on some things. Like, they do these risk factors not to because of performance reasons. They do it because they can. Is the worst part. That's why I will always kind of just dive to LMP any day, because Formula Car racing is so super dangerous. You want to know the most dangerous racing? It's Formula Cars. Formula Cars is one of those cases of dangerous racing, because there's bare minimum safety regulations just for the trade, for speed, and the fact to stay on the track even more, which, I'm sorry, you gotta have some kind of safety limit to your cars at the end of the day, which is probably why what led up to the Super Formula at the end of the day. Even though my biggest problem about the Super Formula cars, they are nowhere as fast as even this. This hits 250. Super Formula cars, they only hit like 200 at best, but they do have the best average period though of a Formula car though. That's probably the one trade-off you get. They have a crazy average of how fast they can get around the track at the end of the day, but not the matter of top speed though. Top speed, nah, let's not go that high for some reason. Besides, I could think brake problems would probably be the issue. Because yeah, I will say brakes do not like functioning around 250 miles per hour, so that might have been the reason at the end of it. And that just tells us that yeah, we're basically at the limits of human possibilities, basically. And such. That's the worst part. Until we as humans get more advanced systems in our bodies at the end of the day, we're just not able to hit a higher standard or crazy standards of racing at the end of the day. You would have to be forcibly trained to endure such battle G's at the end of the day and such. Yeah. Like even this might technically be dangerous at the end of the day. It's just that's the fun part of reality, because yeah, as the saying goes, the Red Bull car, for example, is a big case of where if there were no limits, that car would exist, but because there's limits, that the Red Bull car does not exist. It is just a showcase piece that they show in reality. Like they have the body, they just don't have the motors and stuff because it can't exist because of limitations and such. Which sucks on that matter. So the only case the Red Bull car exists is through simulation, which is one of the little articles I saw as a recap, basically. Because I knew about the Red Bull car. It just kind of sucks though that it's only virtual space where you can try the insane possibilities you can do with that car. Which I'm not saying the grade 1 version of the Red Bull competition version. No, that is just made in mind for grade 1, which is a weaker version. The real one is way faster than the competition version. I'll just say that for the most part. In fact, I need to try that one sometime see if I could detune that to grade 1 specifically. Probably won't work, but we'll see. That's probably one I got checked out. I will say, although I had to pay like $4 million for that car, because yeah, speaking of high dollar cars, I would say some premium cars do cost a pretty penny to get it at the end. I think that's one of them I still haven't gotten. Yeah, there's still some cars I haven't bought yet. Yeah, I need to turn around and buy eventually. I will say, at this point it's just the premiums. All the auction cars I gotten at this point. Also, yeah, I didn't know why I paused it. It was weird. But I just so happened to do it. I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, to the final lap here, which I guess the nice part about this event, it's only like 4 laps. It would have been nice if it was like a mini endurance or something, but no. No, just a regular race at the end of the day. It's like, okay, whatever. We'll just do this regular race and just call good. But yeah, I decorated the car and everything else. Although, I do feel like I probably should have decorated more to it, but it is what I kind of just thought at the end of the day, which is just a little bit of a modern old style at the end of the day. Retroification, you know? So it's like, get this big giant oversized go-kart to victory at the end of it. Yeah, that's the funny part when it comes to these old form of cars. The more you look at, the more you realize, yeah, it's just a big go-kart at the end of it, which kind of is pretty true. Because yeah, if you ever crash into it, you probably most likely die. As the thing goes. Yep, that basically wraps that for that event. So now on to the big event. That is the World Touring Car 800 at Daytona Road Course. Which I decided to challenge myself and drive the Alfa Romeo 155. If you don't know this Alfa Romeo 155, it's a grade 4 car. However, this grade 4 car is special. This is a DTM race car. And if you don't know that DTMs, in terms of power, they're kind of hit the semblance as GT500s in some ways a little bit. Although this is like a before years GT500s, but yeah. This happened here, by the way. I don't know what's going on with this Porsche RSR, but he just decided to go drunk driving and just careen off the track. So it's like, I'm not sure what to say at the end of the day, besides, well, this is new. Guess someone forgot to program that guy a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But yeah, I decided to do a bit of a challenge on this one. Decided to do the Alfa Romeo 155 and just to see and prove that this, oh yeah, this happened again, by the way, as we zoom in here on the map, because you could just watch closely of his icon. He suddenly just pauses there for a second. It's like, okay, what happened this time? When we go look back at him again, and he careens right off again. I don't know what to say anymore. It's like, come on, stay on the track. I'm trying to say things about the 155 at the end. It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. Hilarious to see at the end of it, but yeah. So I decided to prove that the 155 can do grade 3 races. I can't say it will do all of them. I would say it'll do some like this Daytona, for example, because I think the Daytona road course ones for the GT3 racing is probably the most chilled ones in terms of difficulty. Where something like the Suzuka circuit, I would say, is more of a challenge. But then again, I have to turn around and see if I can do that with the 155 or not. So I need to go test that sometime soon. But overall, yeah, the 155 it can do this. It can do this event, which really shocks the crap out of me, I will say. But yeah, when I say it can do this, it hits 350 kilometers per hour. So yeah, definitely at the highest punch possible I can give to this car at the end of the day. Matter of fact, I also even had to do some narrowings just to get that top speed. But it worked at the end of the day. So yeah, 350 kilometer per hour, 155, 2.5 V6 Ti, 1993. Yeah, very fast DTM car, I will say. Probably the most broken, considering, I mean, as you might have recalled from DTM events, for those that have watched maybe since then, yeah, this car was a menace in the DTM events because this was probably the most advanced car out of the DTM cars in that said DTM event. Because this car was just outright broken, and I'm not surprised because when you look at the history of this car's history, you come to realize that this car is broken on its own footing at the end of the day. Because for one thing, this has no relationship to the production model of the 155. This thing is a completely different machine beast made for racing at the end of the day. That Alfa Romeo just decided to do because DTM decided to change their rulings and stuff that, oh hey, you don't need to have a half-baked production model, you can have a car built for racing. So Alfa Romeo turned around and took the 155 scale of body and just added racing parts to it at the end of the day. Racing parts that would otherwise would have been illegal, but now not illegal, and you got this. And all-wheel, well, I don't know if all-wheel drive, but four-wheel drive 155 at the end of the day, which, yeah, I will say the 155 I think was an FF car, so just to say this is a much better version compared to what it originally was. And for real season. I will say, even the best part too, I think that later that four-wheel drive version later did got distributed for sales. because people wanted the four-wheel drive version. They didn't want the stupid FF one. They wanted that four-wheel drive version. So eventually, Alfa Romeo did concede to giving a limited production number of the 155 at the end of that specific model and such. So that's probably the cool part, at least. This is one of the cases where they still did homologation models, but you know, not a forced homologation model. Which I do like that. I do like that some manufacturers still kind of do that instead of, because most of the homologation cars, some of the homologation cars wouldn't have this if they weren't forced to. Because I will say, for example, the R32 Nismo may not have might not exist. The 22B Subaru Impreza may not have existed either. Although I could be dead wrong, and turns out those were actually celebration models at the end of the day. That's a fun part. It could be just a celebration model. And I do kind of think the 22B was that case. The more I look at it, I think I come to realize that. So yeah, I think that was more of a celebration model. Which, it's good to have celebration models, also. Because yeah, you know people want a inspiration of the race car model at the end of the day. Because, you know, you can't offer straight up the race car model because for one, reliability case, they're just not that good. And two, pollution is out the door when these cars are made, so while I would say somewhat out the door, they do have some pollution control, but not enough where it could be record, so to say, by the DMV or whatever one company that handles that. I think they're called pollution department or whatever, so to say. But yeah, it just very a lot of interesting things going on there. A lot of interesting things. Yeah, speaking of the cars, Mazda RX Vision. Yeah, apparently there's another Vision Mazda car too that they showed at their Tokyo Motor Show. Cause yeah, they're doing the Tokyo Motor Show once, which is probably like one of the coolest motor shows to see, because you just see a lot of interesting models and stuff. This is Japan, which I would say cool loosely, because a bunch of them were just electric cars at the end of the day, so it's like, ow. I mean, it could be good or bad. I will say there's one super good thing about this Alfa Romeo 1555 E60. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying that because I don't want that freaking name is. It can go as much as 5 laps, which is really freaking good in comparison to something like the WRX Grade 3, because the WRX Grade 3 was one of the most fuel efficient Grade GT3 cars in terms of this race in general. So yeah, that car could go 5 laps, this car could go 5 laps, which is super, so I will say 5 laps loosely, you do have to lean 2. Before I go first. But yeah, it can go 5 laps. So there's like 1 pit stop and then the win the rest of the way. So yeah, that's the great part about the 155. Because yeah, the Viper has to pit twice in this race, just to say. Which, holy crap, that's a lot. I will say though, he does have better top speed, so you're gonna be seeing a case where he's gonna be just outpacing me a little bit because of this top speed is just a bit higher. That's the trade-off that Viper has. Such. Yeah, so everyone else is just kind of pitting it to hit the Viper space, so to say. I mean, I know the 911 RSR is not, but good God, I cannot believe that drunk drive on that first lap. It's weird. It's very weird on that matter. Yeah, so that's basically much as I could say in terms of gameplay stuff. Now for vlog stuff, I guess in terms of watching, I've been watching like game shows, like I say game shows loosely, it's just, I don't know what they would consider the Red Bull soapbox at the end of the day. It's kind of like a game show at the end of the day, where you just watch these soapboxes get down to the end as quick as you can, and, you know, not rip itself apart, because gotta say, a lot of people sure love investing in cheap-ass wheels that break up on the first jump when it comes to soapbox racing, because good God. I don't know what's up with people buying these tiny little red wheels, but stop buying those tiny red wheels, because they do not work. You need to buy some rubber bouncing tires at the end of the day that do not break upon the first jump. But yeah, when you make a soapbox for, you know, specifically those races, you need to have the durability to handle jumps and stuff. And I'm noticing, like, when it comes to soapboxes, people make these soapboxes and there's like no durability whatsoever once they hit that jump, or it just breaks along the way. It's very funny when it comes to soapboxing, and it's one of the sports I do very much enjoy because it's one of the OG sports out there in terms of classic. Been there since, like, I don't know, 40s or 50s, you know. It's one of the most cultural racing sports, period. Because you don't have to be fast to be enjoyable. You can be the most stylish in terms of enjoyment when it comes to soapbox. And that's what I love about soapbox. Because you don't have to win to be good. You have to have the looks too, which is bonus points for that. And such. That's one of the sports I see. And then and then in terms of other old game shows I recap to watch. When I say game show loosely on this one, because technically it's fake, but the Most Extreme Elimination. I forgot how. My God, I forgot how racial slurred that game show was. Well, game show loosely, because technically it wasn't really a game show. It was just Spike TV putting like things together to make it look like a game show, even though it wasn't a game show. Even though the game show format works very well, I gotta say, if it was a real Z game show. But because it not being a real game show, it's weird for the most part. But I do like for the comedic things and what some of the contestants did, even though as we English dubbed. Yeah, the English dub's fake as fuck. As the thing goes. But yeah, it's just one of those historic game shows I used to see on Spike TV way back and such. When Spike TV was all about that manliness and games and stuff. You know, I think that television network is dead at this point. But it's just a funny thing. The recap too, because that was like one of the things I did watch. But yeah, I'm not much of a TV person, but that was definitely one of the things I did watch, because I do like some game shows. That's probably the one thing I'll watch over any day. Like, I think I saw this one grocery game show too, I recall way back. I don't remember what's called though. Yeah, I like some interesting game shows, not Wheel of the fucking Fortune, for God's sakes. It is something, but it's not quite, you know, a game show to me. It's more like, oh, you want this money, have this money. Even though you have to sign a couple deeds, as the thing goes when it comes to that. Or it's Broderick game show at the end of the day. Just a little bit. So to say, but yeah, it's just a game show is a game show. So, yep, so now I just drive the 155 to victory, which I pretty much got this in the bag at this point. The Viper's gonna pit sooner or later here, which there he is. He pit just right now. If anything I'm doing, I'm just showing the cabins and stuff, because usually my goal when it comes to these 20-minute races, I usually show the overview, the cabin view, and you know, the vinyl that's around the car at the end of it. As such. Yep, so now I just drive the 155 to victory, so if there's one problem I have with the 155, I think because I had the front spoiler 2 arranged in the front, I think when it brakes heavy, it acts up big time. That's the one thing I did notice immediately. It's like, oh wow, this thing gets loose during the big first turn, because I had to adjust it a couple times before I would say attempt 4 of this race. Because yeah, I decided to wheel out at one point in mid-race, which sucked, because I did 5 laps in, and it's like, oh, damn it. So I had to do it again. This time it was straightened and narrowed out, so not gonna have those problems this time around. As a matter of fact, the lap times by lap times is still kind of the same, like 1:45. Which I figured that Viper would be beating my lap times, and didn't. Yeah, I figured he would. Yeah, it's about to hit Sunset and Daytona, which, yeah, I gotta say, when you drive this track and Sunset, it looks good. It looks good for this track. You get that nice orange crescent sun point, fresh sun point. It's probably the best part about Daytona. Yep, so now I just drive the 155 to victory. But yeah, I will say I am gonna jump a lap here because at this point I just have it. I just have it at this point. We stroll into nighttime, which, yeah, during nighttime we get the lights on. I gotta say, it really sucks not having like any of the NASCAR cars or some car that's based off of NASCAR at the end of the day. Like Grand Turismo could turn around and do the same thing what they did with Formula cars and add stock cars. And you don't have to have it based off a character or anybody. I just want the stock car at the end of the day. Give me a stock car. That's all I ask. Because when you go around tracks like this, you want a stock car. You really want a stock car at the end of the day. It feels very weird driving through this track every time, and I don't get to drive a stock car for this. It's super strange for the most part. And it could be like the newest stock car. I don't care. Like, I heard some problems about the new stock cars. I just don't care. I just want a stock car at the end of the day. I just want a fun stock car. Heck, give us the freaking stock car that did the Le Mans, for God's sakes. That would have been nice. I'm surprised you guys didn't do that. Matter of fact. Because, yeah, I'm not... What was it? Garage 54 NASCAR, I recall? Something like that. I can't remember which number. But yeah, it sucks on that part also. Yep, so now on to the last turn with the 155. Like the longest turn of history. Going around, baby. Not hitting 200 miles per hour, but we're going around, baby. I mean, it's kind of close. I'm like 170 here. I mean, this would probably go like, I assume like 188, so about as fast as a Craftsman truck, maybe. But that basically wraps that for this weekly, which, yeah, overall I'd say this weekly probably I don't know, probably a B for the most part. It's not crazy, but it's something. I would say it's a little bit weaker than the last week's. The last week's was more entertaining. Besides the funny hijink moments where the cars were wrecking stuff, I cannot believe those Porsches back on that replay. This, holy crap. And then, speaking of Porsche, then this Porsche act up on WTC. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that at the end of the day. Just funny crap. That's very much funny crap on that. But yeah, overall just got crap for my dailies. Now the weeklies is just money. It's just money, guys. Which kinda sucks, but you know, you just pay $2.5 million for a Raw probably. So yeah, that really sucks on that part. So I would say a little B for that month. So that basically wraps up for this week. So I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care. Until then, enjoy this little teaser I have that I'm currently building as of recent. To give you a clue, just go look at the front of the pack there. Because in the Scirocco Grade 4, the M1 RS, and the Viper Grade 4, you probably learn, what the heck's that M1 RS? Yeah, if you don't know about Japanese cars, well, yeah, I got a surprise for you. But to just drop the curveball for you, it's Super K's versus Grade 4 Cup car speed in the future. In other words, they hit 155. So until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care, and thanks for watching. Ciao.